It's your boy, K9. I'm back with another episode, the A9 Cast. Apparently, I guess it's a podcast now. The whole reason why I created A9 Cast was for it not to be a podcast. It was just supposed to be videos of me talking about just whatever I felt like talking about. But according to YouTube, they've now put A9 Cast, the series A9 Cast, into the podcast category. So, it's available on YouTube Music under podcast. I think it might be a section under podcast or something like that under my on my channel. I don't know. I'll have to check. But yeah, I saw that. I was on YouTube Music. That's why I listen to most of my music. I went to my profile just to check, just to look at some things or whatever like that. I put up upload a new song a few weeks ago. Where You Been, WYB, available now on all streaming platforms. And I just seen podcasts under my shit. And I was like, podcast? What podcast do I have? A9 Cast. So, but anyways, today I wanted to talk about something that, I kind of was like, I was just chilling yesterday. And, I was having some thoughts, some ideas, wanted to have a conversation, get some better understanding of certain things that I've been thinking about. And, ran to ChatGPT, which was my first time doing that. I recently got into it just a few days ago, because my partner was just telling me about it. I was like, let me just see what it's about. And, I've been using it just for ideas and, using it for advice on mixing and a lot of music stuff. But yesterday I was just like, I have questions and I can't really go to nobody. My girlfriend's at work and I'm pretty sure she can't give me the answers I want. She can listen to what I'm saying, but she won't be able to give me no answers. So I just hit up ChatGPT, asked it some questions, and eventually we got to this idea of hyper-indivisualism. And that was my first time hearing of that phrase. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, explain I got to it from, it was a talk of spirituality or whatever like that. And eventually it got to, that search for a spiritual awakening or that search for some type of spiritual connection can sometimes lead to hyper-individualism. And I was like, what is hyper-individualism? And it broke it down. And once I learned what this was, it connected everything that I was having questions about, all the issues that I see with what's going on in the world and how social media kind of blurs reality and fiction and all stuff like that. It is all hyper-individualism. And I came to the conclusion that hyper-individualism is ruining everything. So to break it down, I got some notes and, I'm going to just go off the notes, get into this conversation or whatever like that. But hyper-individualism, the belief that personal freedom, autonomy, and self-interest should be prioritized above all, has disconnected us from each other, weakened communities, warped reality via algorithms, and made our world smaller instead of larger. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of what I've been talking about, a lot of the questions that I was having was like, okay, why do people interact like this? Why do people have these certain beliefs, even though there's so many things to prove those beliefs wrong? Why do people still believe those things? And it has to do with hyper-individualism. Has a lot to do with the algorithm telling us that what we believe is right. The algorithm isn't going to tell you or show you that what you think or what you believe, or even if it's wrong, tell you that it's wrong. It's just going to keep feeding things that's just going to keep on, reflecting what you already believe. It's just going to keep saying, yeah, you're right. See, yeah, you're right. See, yeah, you're right. See. And because we live in our own world and we only care about what we want to care about, because the algorithm only gives us what we want to care about, we believe the world is a way that it really isn't. But let's get into certain talking points. What is hyper-individualism? It basically promotes me over we mentality. A lot of the phrases that a lot of certain pockets of the internet like to spew, secure the bag. I need somebody that can do, I need a relationship where this person does this for me. This person does that for me. If you don't benefit me, get away from me. If you like me mentality, I want to protect my peace. I want, it's basically saying everything in my life has to be a benefit to me and me only. And if you're not a benefit to me, you can go. Where I work, if you make me feel a certain way, I'm not working there. You talk to me a certain way, you don't treat me like I'm the most important thing in your life, then you have to go. You understand what I'm saying? Even that hustle mentality, that working on self, and all these things people are avoiding actually working on themselves by thinking that if I just focus on myself and make sure everything caters to my needs and my beliefs, then that's good enough for me. And a lot of that comes with how we got from spirituality was when certain people have these conflicts with their spirituality, whether it's a religious thing, whether it's just trying to understand the world properly, they kind of lose a disconnect from whatever higher being they grew up admiring or whatever like that. And when you do that, you develop this spiritual emptiness. And with that spiritual emptiness, you feel the solution to it is to make yourself the God, make yourself the thing to be worshipped, make yourself the most important thing in your world. To some people, especially religious people, nothing's greater than God. But when you develop hyper-individualism, when you have that spiritual emptiness and you start looking towards how can I find something that's going to give me that same feeling that other with God that I kind of have a disconnect from, make myself the thing that nothing's greater than, nothing's more important than me, nothing's more important than my happiness, nothing's more important than my freedoms, my ability to do what I want to do. You understand what I'm saying? And when you create an environment on the internet where everybody has developed this idea because you can see what you want to see, your followers are going to support anything and everything that you do, and they're called followers. You understand what I'm saying? So you already have this you create this God complex. And when you have a million people, billions of people all walking around with this God complex, that's how you get this bickering. That's how you get this tribalism. That's how you get this narcissism. That's how you get all these issues that's been going on, because people live in their own world and now they're trying to battle their world versus your world. We could go into the algorithm. We all know what an algorithm is. The algorithm is catered to you individually. It's not a window. It's not a window to the world. It's not going to show you the reality of the world. It's going to show you what you already think the reality of the world is. If you believe women ain't shit, women only want this, women only want that, guess what? Your algorithm is going to show you examples of what you already believe. And on the other hand, if you believe men ain't shit, men are cheaters, men are this and men are that, your algorithm is going to show you things to just reinforce what you already believe. It's not going to tell you, hey, maybe that's not true. There are good men out there. There's different cultures that have different ethics when it comes to male and female dynamics that, is outside of what you are used to. But you're not going to see that. You're not going to see how men treat their women in Indonesia. You're not going to see how men treat their women in, Ethiopia or whatever like that. You're not going to see that. You're going to see, especially in America, what it's like in America, and specifically what you think is like in America. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why I see a lot of content creators who tell you, hey, just take a break. When it comes to the social media, when it comes to Twitter, when it comes to Instagram, when it comes to all these things, hey, take a break. Step outside. See the world for what it really is and not what the algorithm tells you really is. Because all it's doing is messing up our brains. And now we develop this idea of, if I didn't see it, it probably isn't that popular. We get this idea that, it went viral. Everybody sees it. Everybody knows about it. Everybody, we generalize certain things because if we see it in our algorithm and people we know see it in their algorithm, which you're most likely going to see similar things if you and your friends have similar interests, have similar beliefs, then of course y'all going to start seeing the same things. But guess what? What's viral to you may not be viral to the person next door, because y'all seeing two different algorithms. Y'all living in two different worlds, even though y'all are next door to each other. You understand what I'm saying? But that hyper-individualism, that idea that what I see is the truth, what I see is what's important, what I believe, what I listen to, all these things are what's important. That's why we have these beliefs that, the person that I like is the best because I like them and they make my favorite songs and this. Now you got so many people. It goes to the Drake and Kendrick thing. Drake fans have this idea of him, have this view of him based because they view him that way because that's what they like. They like that. That's what they want. That's what they want to hear. The girls that they associate themselves might like that type of music, or at least act like they like that type of music. So to them, oh man, this is what the hoses listen to. Oh man, this is what the real niggas listen to. On the other side, there's people that be like, no, I don't see none of that or what you're talking about. I don't even know women that listen to that type of music. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we live in this world where we believe, because of our associations, because it's hyper-individualism, because it's this put your head down and secure the bag, only focus on me, only care about the things that's important to me. If it don't affect me, then I don't care about it. When you live in a world like that, a world where if it don't benefit you, then it doesn't matter, you block out everything else that's going on in the world. And when people tell you, hey, there's other things going on in the world, because you think you're the main character, because you think you're the most important thing in the world, it's just hard for your mind to believe. That's when you start getting defensive, because you're like, no, fuck that shit. Who cares about that? That doesn't mean nothing to me. Well, who cares about you? You're just one of billions and billions and billions of people. Who cares about what benefits you? in the entire world. You're not the most important thing. But you can't tell people on the internet that they're not the most important thing. Because guess what? I have followers that verify my importance. I have likes. I have comments. I get shared. I get this and that. I get all these praises from people that I don't know on the internet that verify, glorify, and reflect that I am important. Even if I'm not, even if nobody knows you, you feel you're way more important because you have certain numbers and metrics that tell you, oh yeah, people fucking with you. You understand what I'm saying? But because you're living in that bubble. And what I'm talking about as far as like algorithm just showing you, not showing you nothing that you don't want to see, because how these platforms work is they just want your time. All these platforms just want your time. This platform right here, YouTube, just wants your time. Close. You gotta go. So when it comes to these echo chambers, that's a word that gets thrown around, but people don't truly understand what it is. An echo chamber is exactly what I was talking about when it comes to, you have algorithms that's only going to show you what you want to see, because or things that are going to engage you the most. What you're going to engage through the most, because psychologically we are going to engage, we're going to pay attention to things that make us feel bad more than the things that make us feel good. You might just like a post and move on, but if something makes you mad, if something upsets you, you're going in the comments. And you're hoping somebody replies to your comment so that you can go back and forth with them on the internet. That's why you're going to see things like people that have this belief in their head that women are a certain way, women only do this and women only do that. Guess what? They're going to keep getting content that verifies it, because it's going to make you mad. It's going to make you get in the comments. It's going to make you share. It's going to make you do certain things because you feel like there's a point to prove. See, I'm right. Look at this. See, I'm right. Look at that. When you live in these echo chambers, it's only going to show you things that's going to tell you you're right. See, you're right. See, you're right. Oh, this celebrity just cheated. This man just cheated. This man just cheated. And guess what? In that specific case, you're going to get girls. See, niggas ain't shit, man. That's why you can't. And when you have an algorithm for one side that's telling you niggas ain't shit, you got an algorithm on the other side telling you these women ain't shit. Guess what you get? Gender wars. You get people on podcasts arguing about things that don't really matter, basing their arguments on scenarios that only apply to a certain group of people and don't actually apply to everybody else. They may have some people that practice polygamy, but guess what? Everybody doesn't practice polygamy. You know how many times I remember, this was last year, I was on, maybe was it Facebook? It was on something, but almost every woman was putting, I don't do poly. I don't do poly. I'm like, is polygamy really this common? It really isn't. But it's a trend on the internet for men to be like, yeah, I'm polygamous now. I got all these different girls. But you know how many people in real life that I know that practice polygamy? Nobody. I don't know nobody. I've never met somebody who even who even processed it like, yeah, if you're single, you're going to move like a single man. But once I'm in a relationship, I'm locked down to my relationship. I don't know many people in real life or heard anybody that practices polygamy. Yet on the internet, it will tell you that this is a rising trend that is going on. But no, it's because your algorithm keeps showing you men ain't shit, and men are trying to have multiple relationships with multiple women at the same time, because men are so greedy, men are so this, and men are so that. You understand what I'm saying? And also, if you're wondering, I'm gonna look at the chat after this conversation is done. This also goes into hyper-individualism, but a lot of people like to get into these lives and start trying to have separate conversations than the conversation that's being had. They like to bring attention to themselves. They like to ask questions that diverts the attention away from what we're talking about and puts it on whatever they want to talk about. Nobody wants to deal with that. Nobody wants to talk about what you want to talk about. If you don't want to engage in the conversation, if you don't have anything to comment on the conversation, if you don't have any context, any nuance on the conversation, you can go. You understand what I'm saying? I'll get into the chat once I get all my points. But like I said before, this goes into the man and female dynamic that's been messed up. That's been, you know what I'm saying, going rampant, especially on social media, because that's where a lot of it goes. That isn't like, some people like to take those social media conversations and bring them into real life. But really, in real life, these things aren't really that big of an issue. These are things that get discussed or should be getting discussed in person with the person that you're having these conversations with. But if it's a stranger dude and a stranger girl, they're going to have these conversations about what I want our relationship, and relationship should be like this, relationship should be like that. And just like, well, y'all not dating each other. So how you feel it should go and how she feels it should go doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. He should have this conversation with the woman that he's with. You should have the conversation with the man that you're with. If y'all both are single, then maybe it speaks to something that you can't be in a relationship because you feel relationships should be this way and people in real life can't fit that thing. And this also goes into how relationships have become so transactional. We got people on podcasts saying, because of this hyper-individualism, people on podcasts saying, oh, if he don't make this amount of money, I can't mess with him. Well, who says that person that makes the amount of money wants to cater to you? That person may feel like you're a burden to them. You understand what I'm saying? And on the other side, I need a woman that knows her place, that this and that. Well, who says that type of woman isn't already wifed up somewhere? I don't want a woman that does this and a woman that does that. Well, there's a lot of women that are exactly what you say, but you look over them because maybe they're not on social media engaging in whatever bullshit that you can engage in on the internet. You understand what I'm saying? And with that comes a lot of people are suffering from loneliness, because a lot of people live in this world where they're the only important thing, especially when it comes to relationships. When you live in this, the fact that you say this is a red flag to me, because then it might mean that this will happen and that will happen. It's just like, well, did you explore the relationship? Did you explore why this person said this? Did you explore and get to know this person better? Sometimes you don't even try and explore to get that person know better. You just assume based off of what you know. And because you feel in your head, hyper-individualism, you know everything, I'm cutting you off because you gave me a red flag and I can't trust that. Well, you didn't even get to know this person. But because you get a bad feeling, which of course bad feelings is fine if you get into, but that doesn't mean you're always right. Sometimes you're wrong. In life, we can be wrong. You can't just say, oh, because this person said this, it means this. You don't know that person's background. You didn't get to know them any better. You just decided this and you decided that. Oh, he took me to Cheesecake Factory. This means this about this person. I'm cutting them off. Because we don't go into relationships about, okay, how can I benefit you? How can you benefit me? How can we communicate? How can we, learn to love each other, not just love each other immediately off the rip? How can we make this a partnership and not a what have you done for me lately ship? You understand what I'm saying? Oh, he got to pay my bills. Oh, he got to do this. He got to do that. Oh, he got to have this type of car. Oh, like these type of ideas that only really exist on the internet is why a lot of people suffer with loneliness, because you feel like everybody has to meet your standard. Your standard is the peak. But now you're cutting people off. You're pushing people away. You develop a personality. You're developing a character, especially on the internet. You're developing a character where people find you unattractive, no matter how beautiful you are. You're looked at as unattractive because you have these standards that aren't realistic. You have this idea of certain things because your algorithm tells you that's right. Yeah, it's right to have a man like that. See, this person said that. This person said that. This person. Well, you don't live the life of that person that you saw say that. But you think you're just as important. If this is good enough for Beyonce, then it's good enough for me. She got her a billionaire. I deserve a billionaire just like Beyonce. Excuse me? Is that what I'm saying? This is why a lot of people, their circles are getting smaller. Some people are able to have a good amount of friends, but best friends, real genuine relationships, it's hard to have when you live in this. You wasn't there for me one time, and I should be the most important thing in your life, so I'm cutting you off. That's a weird world. Sometimes people can't be there for you. Sometimes you have to understand that just like you have issues in life, other people have issues in life that they have to focus on. A lot of people walk around with this mindset of, because I'm your friend, you have to drop everything you're doing and focus on me. I don't care what you have going on. Focus on me. It's a lot of narcissism, and that's what creates vicarious narcissism, where now you start feeling like whoever it is that you feel is important to you, their wins are your wins. Their success is your success. And that's where you get this tribalism. No, my singer is the best singer of all time. No, my favorite rapper is the best singer of all time. You get these wars between the Beehive and the Barbs or whatever the fuck, or whatever Cardi B's fans is called in the Barbs, because everybody feels like the person that I like is the person, and there should be no other comparison, because what I feel and what I'm into should be the most important thing. You understand what I'm saying? And then this leads to how you get disconnected from reality. You create this digital life, this digital world, this digital persona, and you want to live by that. You want that to still be that. You want that to be your reality, even when it's not your reality. You don't realize that the world is much, much bigger than whatever persona you created on the internet. You could have, you have 1 million followers. Most people who engage in this don't have 1 million followers on Instagram. Most of them have a few hundred, a few thousand, and still for some reason think that they're, you know what I'm saying, Barack Obama or some shit like that. But you have 1 million followers on Instagram, Twitter, whatever the fuck. 1 million followers. Now think about 1 million followers. That's a lot of followers, right? Now put 1 million followers to 8 billion people. Doesn't seem like that much, does it? That's what I'm saying? But in your head, 1 million followers, I'm famous. 1 million followers, I'm popping. You do realize that means there are more people in the world that don't know and don't care who you are, what you do, but you don't believe in that world. You don't think that's even a possibility. What do you mean you don't know me? I got 1 million followers. I had the highest charting song on Spotify. Good for you. I made this much amount of money. Good for you. Guess what? There's billions and billions and billions of people that don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Don't know who you are from a stick of gum. You understand what I'm saying? From a bum on the street. But you can't live in that world. You don't understand that world. But because the algorithm and the social media rewards you for getting followers, getting likes, getting comments, you're like, oh, I'm popping. Oh, I'm that big. Oh, can't nobody tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? But focus on me. I'm the only one that matters. I'm a celebrity. I'm this. I'm that. And it's just like, yeah, you popping, but humble yourself. And once again, when you create websites, when you create a world where millions and millions of people all think that how they feel is the most important, that their opinion matters, and that's another phrase that gets thrown around a lot that throws things off. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. No, the fuck they're not. Everybody doesn't have the context to give an opinion, yet they do because the internet allows them to. The internet tells you your world, your word, your point of view matters in any and every conversation that you choose it to matter to. Hyper-individualism. Hyper-individualism. My words matter. My opinion matters. My comment matters. So I'm giving it to you. And if somebody tells you, hey, I don't care what you have to say, it's just my opinion, bro. Well, who asked for your opinion? Nobody asked. But because you feel like what you got to say and what you feel, this main character syndrome has to be, you know what I'm saying, the end all be all of all conversation. This conversation I'm having right now, if it's one person, 0 people, 29, 19, 30, 300,000, whatever. Guess what? It's still just my word. I'm not going to act like what I'm saying is the most important thing and that it should change y'all's lives. It's just me having a conversation, having a thought, having something to talk about. Something that actually means something, because a lot of people have these big platforms that say nothing worth meaning, nothing that means anything. You understand what I'm saying? Hyper-individualism. You see academics. You see a Aiden Ross. You see Adam 22. You see how these people feel like their importance is a lot more than it actually is, because they have fans that tell them, yes, you're the GOAT. Yes, you are the best. Yes, your opinion matters. Yes. And you see how these people react, how these people interact with other people from a distance, of course. How they interact and talk to other people from a distance, of course, because they can only live in that world on the internet. You understand what I'm saying? And this goes into what I was talking about earlier about just when you live in that, the world shrinks. Like I said, yeah, 1 million people is a lot of people. You put 1 million people in a room, that's a lot of people. But hold that to a scale of 8 billion people. It's nothing. It's what? A portion of a major city cares what the fuck you think? A portion of a major city cares what you think? Good for you. But that doesn't mean that it has to apply to everybody. Everybody doesn't have to believe what you believe. Everybody doesn't have to agree with what you agree with. Everybody doesn't have to like the shows, like the movies, like the artists, like the celebrities that you like. And that's okay. But that doesn't mean you should live in your bubble and that your bubble is the only thing that matters. It doesn't mean that nothing else matters outside of what you like and what you want it to be. These people are now becoming lonely, more antisocial, because they feel like the only time that they can be themselves is on the internet. So when they're in public places, they don't know how to act. They don't know how to behave because they know deep down, subconsciously, they know I can't do the shit that I did on Twitter. I can do the shit that I did on YouTube. I'm moving differently. But hopefully, things go my way. Because my way is the only way that matters. You understand what I'm saying? But my closing thought, it's okay. It's okay to have your own thoughts, your own opinions, have your own interests and likes. That's what makes being an individual great. Everybody comes from different places. Everybody has different beliefs. But the fact that people want to push those beliefs on other people, bully other people if they don't believe the things they believe, make it seem like it's impossible that what I feel is important to me isn't important to the rest of the world, especially in America. It's definitely an American thing. We feel like our policies, our society, the way we run our society, the way we run our households, we feel like all these things that we believe are the right ways. And if other countries and other cultures and other walks of life maybe do something different, we look at them like they're weird. We look at them like something's off with them. And that's just not how it should be. Because even in America itself, there are people that run their households very differently. People that follow different religions, follow different ethics, follow different moral codes. You shouldn't feel like how you see the world, how you view the world is the way to view the world. And if anybody else disagrees with you, they're disposable. Fuck them. They don't matter. Who cares about them? Who cares what they like? Because they're not me. This main character energy is a lot bigger than people think. I know there's content creators that basically make their entire focus the fact that they're the main character and other people are NPCs. Other people are just people that are just accessories to the story of whoever they are. But that's not how it really works. Everybody's their own individual. Everybody has their own story. And you should respect everyone as individuals and as their stories. But you should also know your place in that situation. You should tell somebody that your experiences doesn't matter because it has nothing to do with me. What you're going through doesn't matter because it doesn't affect me. If you don't benefit me in any way, then you can go. You shouldn't make life transactional. You're not. Even if you want to believe it through the internet, even though you have followers, which has that cult-like insinuation to it. Even if you have followers, you can have all the money. It doesn't negate the fact that some people don't give a fuck about that. You understand what I'm saying? And this just goes into, at a certain point before social media, people kind of understood that if we just come together, even if we may have different beliefs and different backgrounds, if we come together, a little unity, things become a lot better. Things become a lot easier. Everybody's working to help each other, working to better each other, having conversations that are about bettering the other person versus trying to have the moral high ground against somebody, trying to prove that you're better, that you're smarter than the other person. Now that social media is here, basically telling you that what you believe is right and nobody else can argue with you on that. I'm just going to reflect you. It's not a mirror. I mean, it's not a window to the world. It's a mirror. Yeah, this is what the world is. Exactly what you thought it was. So now if somebody comes and says, oh, no, it's not really like that, you find it as defensive. How dare you? It wasn't like that at a certain point. At a certain point, it was like, look, you have your way of viewing it. I have my way of viewing it. But look, we can still come together and make something beautiful. We can still help the community. We can still help other people. We can still do these great things. Even with varying opinions, even with varying things, those things never really mattered. At the end of the day, it was about one thing, and it was about making life better for multiple people. Now we live in a world where it's only about making things better for me. And that ties into that lack of spirituality. Whether it's your connection to the universe, your connection to God, or if you don't believe anything other, just your connection with self. If you work on yourself, if you think about things on yourself in a way that isn't only self-fulfilling, but in a way where it's just like, okay, I need to understand that everything isn't about me. Everything isn't personal. I need to understand that these people have lives too, and they may need me, or they may not need me. But I should, whenever I can, reach out and make sure that they're okay. Just like I would want someone to reach out and make sure I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's all people need. we should team together and come up with something. Come up with, do a project, whatever it is. What's your situation? What's my situation? How can we come together and make our situations better without snaking the other person out, without turning on the other person? We may have varying opinions, but if we can come together on this common goal of making life better for our family, making life better for our friends, we can do that because it's not about us. It's not about us individually. It's about us as a community. You understand what I'm saying? And like it's one of the notes, what are we willing to give up? And at this point, how bad things have gotten, maybe we need timers on the social media shit. Times to touch grass. You remember back in the day, the Nickelodeon go off air for what? Hour and a half, 2 hours? Go outside, touch grass. Of course, some people be like, fuck that, I'm going to watch another channel. But maybe sometimes these apps, which won't happen because in a capitalistic society, these billionaires is not going to shut down their apps so you can have real human connection. They love the fact that you don't want to connect with real humans. Because if you connect with real humans, you'll realize this is all bullshit. And they don't want that. They want you to be on here as much as possible, to watch as many ads as possible so they can get as much money as possible. What we need to do as a community, stop with the individualism. Stop with only thinking of ourselves as a community, as a people. Don't care if you black, white, brown, orange, yellow, whatever like that. Sometimes we just need to come together and be like, all right, y'all, annual cut this shit off day. Annual, everybody just get off there. Everybody just go out to some event, go out to some gathering. Let's go to the movies. Let's just do something that brings us closer together and not farther apart. Because that's what the social media does. That's what this new era of hyper-individualism does. That's what this new era of anti-intellectualism does. We ain't meeting up no more at the library just to talk, have conversations. This conversation I was having ChatGPT, guess what? I could have had this conversation with a real person. But people in general don't want to go outside. They don't want to have real conversations. They only want to have conversations that tells them that they're right. That's why everybody wants to debate. Even if you intellectually you're not on the level to debate somebody, you still feel like you should debate. Your stance could be completely wrong. Facts prove everything that you say and everything that you believe as wrong. But you don't want to believe that because your algorithm tells you you're right. I saw a video that said this, and that. So how can I be wrong? Because the algorithm only showing you what you want to believe from the beginning. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm going to wrap it up here. One final question. With how these algorithms work, when it comes to feeding us certain posts and certain content that regurgitates our things, algorithms showing us certain music that only has a certain type of energy, a certain type of message. And now you're rebellious to any other message because you think that shit's trash. Any other type of genre, you think that shit's trash. Because I don't like it or I don't understand it. And that's another thing that's going away. Some people don't want to say I don't understand anymore. They would rather say you're wrong than to say I don't get it. Explain it to me. People don't want to learn no more. People don't want to get an understanding no more. People want to just sit in what they already believe. And that goes into where this whole conversation started. Why we don't take things seriously anymore. Why we become so desensitized to everything. Bad news, good news, it doesn't matter. I'll move on to the next thing and the next thing. Keep feeding me what I want to see. I don't care what's going on over there with somebody else's life. Keep showing me things that give me these dopamine spikes and make me feel good about me. Make me feel like, oh, what I like is so entertaining and so great. What I believe is so true. Why we can't just turn it off? Because I listen to this artist all the time. Because these stats that are based on numbers that get rigged and embodied. And that's another thing. When I be having these conversations about, hey, don't always believe these numbers. Because a lot of these artists' songs are getting bodied, put on playlists that buy, and it boosts up their streams, this and that. The reason why people get so defensive about that is because they instantly think about their favorite artists. Their favorite artists. So when an up-and-coming artist says, I know the game, don't trust the game. It's all smoke and mirrors. No, there's no way that the artist that I like could be lying to me. There's no way that because the stats say that they have 100 million streams, that some of them are fake. My artist isn't fake. My artist connects to me. I love my artist. So there's no way what you're saying is true. You're just a hater. You just want to be like them, and you're coming up with conspiracy theories to tear down what their success is because you want their success so bad. But you can't be like them because you're not as good at them. Never even heard a song. I've seen this all the time. Never even heard a song, never even checked something out. You don't even have the musical ear to understand what good music is versus what bad music is. But you'll tell somebody, oh, you're just jealous. You're just making up conspiracy theories because your music is trash and don't nobody want to hear it. Well, you're basing that. Where I left off. This artist is so big to me that it has to be big to everybody else. The whole 100 million, 300 million streams, that's almost everybody in America. Ain't no way I'm tripping. Guess what? You know you listen to the same song multiple times a day. I know I listen to the same song multiple times a day. 300 million streams could just be 10 million people listening to something 30 times. It could not just be 300 individuals listening to the same song once. No, that's not possible. 300 million streams, everybody in the world's listening to the song. No, everybody in your world listens to the song. Everybody's dancing to this song. It's the new trend. How could you not like this song? How could you not know about this song? 300 million streams. It's possible. My algorithm doesn't give me that music. Or I'm not interested in that music. Or I don't listen to that genre. Like, there's so many explanations to why certain people could just not be in the world that you've created for yourself. But people don't understand that. So they get into these arguments. They get into this tribalism. You're wrong because you're not on my side. My side's the only side that matters. But I'm going to wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? But it's ruined everything. It's ruined relationships. It's ruined relationships. And it's a mixture of so much. It's a mixture of so much. Because I can't say it's all social media. It's really that social media and just how the world has become. We've all developed at a certain age. We developed this disconnection spiritually. This disconnection from just something that can keep us going, and this disconnection from us seeing the best of other people. We create this disconnection from seeing the best out of the world, that we start to just be like, okay, all this is just nonsense. Let me just focus on me. You understand what I'm saying? When a mass group of people develop a mistrust for the government, develop a mistrust for religion or mistrust for religious structures, and they don't know enough about themselves, or they don't want to take enough of the time to work on themselves and figure things out and try and find some type of connection, they just be like, okay, let me just block everything out and just focus on me. Make myself the main character. Make what I like and what I believe the only thing that matters. And when you have so many people doing that, you start creating this mental health crisis. You start getting so many people that are antisocial, don't know how to function in public spaces. You get these people that start clout chasing and doing things for attention on the internet because it's going to go viral. It's going to make me even more popular. It's going to show people that I'm really him. So even if these things are just the most ridiculous things that any sane human being can do, you feel like, I'm putting the attention on me. I'm about to be so popping. I'm about to have so many followers, so many likes. Who cares about the consequences of what I'm doing? I'm going to do me because I only care about me. I don't care about what it's going to do to other people, how it's going to put them in a bad light, how it may put them in a bad situation. It's all about me. So guess what? I'm going to jump on the table in the middle of the restaurant and start dancing to put all the attention on me. Because guess what? To me, this is a movie. To me, I am the main character of the movie and everybody else is extras. So I'm going to make a scene. And that's a bar. You understand what I'm saying? You get these clout chasers that just want to put the focus on themselves at all times. When something else is trending, guess what? I'm going to hop on that trend. I'm going to hop on that trend and make it about me. When it comes to these relationships, it becomes transactional. What can you do for me? Not how can we come to compromise, come to great communication, come to loving each other, teaching each other, and doing the things to make each other better people. Who cares about you making me a better person? I don't need you to make me a better person. I just need you to make me look good. Oh, me next to you, that's just not going to work out. Oh, you talk like that, that's not going to work out. Oh, you eat at these restaurants, that's not going to work out. How are you going to benefit me? I don't care about us benefiting each other. Who cares? How are you going to benefit me? How are you going to make me look good? How are you going to get me popping? You understand what I'm saying? You get these gender wars. You get this tribalism. You get all this division because everybody feels this is how it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to be right. And I will fight you to the death. Like the dude in the video, I'll come look for you and fight you over what I believe. I'm so confident that what I believe is the facts of the world, is the facts of life. I'll come fight you over it. We got to stop. We got to find a way to break away from this shit. I don't know. I don't have the answers to how. But we do. Because it's just going to be a war. It really is. It's already getting to that point where people starting to take their personas on the internet too seriously, to where it's affecting their real life. People going to jail over YouTube beefs, killing people over YouTube beefs. That's how bad this is getting. You understand what I'm saying? But that's it for me. I'm out. I'll be back. We'll have another discussion in a few days. This is going to be more about hip hop. The next discussion, hip hop calling out some people who be lying. That's what I'm saying. But I'm gonna wrap it up. Let's see. I'm pretty sure some people came here on some bullshit because that's just what they do. Hyper-indivisualism. You understand what I'm saying? Let's see. What's up? I didn't see you. What's up, bro? Yeah, I already said that I'm waiting until I get to, just say what I gotta say, because once again, as you can see, people, hey, hello, hi, hello, you looking at your chat, like people trying to draw attention to themselves while I'm trying to have a discussion, because it throws off the flow of the conversation if every time somebody pops in, I gotta keep saying, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Like, of course, that's what you're supposed to do, interact with your chat or whatever like that. But sometimes people want to, like, once again, were you streaming to nobody? Who cares? That's my point. that's my actual point. You're just having a conversation. Whoever pops in. You know what I'm saying? Whoever leaves. It doesn't matter. Who cares how many people are in there? Because it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's about the conversation. People are going to see this once it goes up. You know what I'm saying? People are going to see this when it goes up. So who cares? And no, there was just 30, 40 people in here. You know what I'm saying? But once again, because they didn't see it, they don't think it was there. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't see that there was just 40 people in here, that they think, oh, nobody was in here. You were just streaming to nobody. No, that's not what. That's not factual. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm gonna wrap it up. My next discussion is probably going to be about fake fans, quote unquote hip hop fans. You know what I'm saying? And just this, once again, another divide. Once again, ties into hyper individualism and how people just want to focus on themselves. There's this one sector of hip hop fans that only want hip hop to be the way that they want hip hop to be, and that's just not how the world works. That's not how the world works. But because you like that, then you feel like that's all it should be. And anybody that likes that is weird, corny, trying too hard, or whatever like that. It's crazy. So we're going to we're going to call out these tourists in the culture. We're going to just call them out, talk about them. But that's it for me. I'm out. Too sweet.